Good morning. Let's take a look at the bell work. Go ahead and pause it while you do it, and then unpause it to join us. The first thing you're going to do is minus 6. Do it to one side, do it to the other. So minus 6 here. And that gives me 3h hanging out on this side. The less than or equal comes straight down. 13 minus 6 is 7. Next step, I'm going to divide by 3. Do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. Now, some of you put 2.3, and that is a great answer. Oops. Some of you put 2.3 with a bar over it. That's a great answer. As we move towards more algebra, the best answer is 7/3. Okay, to graph it, you put 7/3 here. Jump that up. And then I put 8/3 here. And I know it's bigger than what the numbers are. 6/3 here. And then it's going to be a closed circle, arrow left. And I apologize for not being able to do that right here. On this one, the minus the 7 from both sides. Minus the 7 from both sides. That gives me 4w. And the greater than comes straight down, negative 32. Divide both sides by 4. And that gives me a w here. Greater than comes straight down. Negative 32 divided by 4 is negative 8. On this one, remember it should be negative 8 here as we're numbering our number lines. Let me get to where I can. As we are numbering our number lines, remember that the smaller number is on the left and the bigger number is on the right. Sorry, it's hard to type this. So it'd be like negative 9, negative 8, negative 7 would be your best. Then we need an open circle here. The negative 8 would be an open circle. That was not an open circle. Open circle and arrow to the left. I'm not sure why it's filling or how to make it not fill. So I apologize. Oh, shape fill, no fill. There we go. Open circle, arrow to the left or to the right, because this direction points the direction you want to go. Okay. On our next one, our COVID meme, you can read that. Light work is due in 8 days. Be good for the subs starting tomorrow. So let's look at this two-step inequality. To solve it, what do you get and plug in your answers? Do they work? So most students solve it and they start out and they say, hey, look, minus 9. Do it to one side, do it to the other. Well, that gives us a negative 4x on this side and a negative 8 on this side. So then we divide by negative 4 on this side. Divide by negative 4 on that side. And that gives us x is greater than negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. Problem with that is if I pick any number, that means any number greater than 2 should work. So I'm going to pick 3. And I'm going to say, does x equal 3 work? According to what I just did, it should. But when I plug it in, negative 4 times 3 plus 9 greater than 1. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12 plus 9. Well, negative 12 plus 9 is negative 3. And negative 3 is not greater than 1, which means it doesn't work. There's another trick you're going to have to do. And here's our rule. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you must flip the sign. Less than becomes greater than becomes less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to. You must flip the sign. So on this one, you're dividing by a negative 3, so you flip the sign. So it would become x is greater than negative 4. This one, you do not flip the sign. Even though there's a negative here, you're dividing by a positive, so we do not flip the sign. This one, you're dividing by a positive, so you do not flip the sign. This one, the 5 is still positive. You are dividing by a positive, do not flip the sign. This one, you're dividing by a negative, so you flip the sign. Do one quick example here. Minus 2 here. Let me get rid of that picture here. And then I minus 2 here. And that gives me negative 7x is greater than 21. And then I divide by negative 7. Change the font so you can see this a little bit better. And when I divide by negative 7, on one side, I have to do it to the other. And that gives me x. I divided by a negative, so the less than becomes, or the greater than becomes a less than negative 3. And that's how you do it. Now when I go to graph, I'm going to make this smaller as well. When I go to graph, remember that the negative 4 is less than negative 3, is less than negative 2. So those line up like that. And then I graph it by insert shapes. An open circle at negative 3. Get an open circle, and then my arrow is going to go this way, so I'm going to rotate it so it goes like that. Okay, arrow to the left. Okay, the one other one that I want to talk about is what happens if the variable is not on the left. So let's look at an example there. Okay, so on this one, I'm just going to get rid of the graphing so it's not in the way. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so it's easier to see. The first thing you want to do is minus the 4. And if we do it to one side, we do it to the other. So that gives me negative 23 minus 4 is negative 27, and then negative 3x comes down. Next, we're going to divide by a negative 3. Because we divided by a negative, we flip the sign. So negative 27 divided by negative 3 is 9. We divide by negative, so this less than becomes a greater than x. Now, we're not a fan of having the variable on the right. Best practice says get the variable to the left. So at this point, I'm going to flip the sign again. I'm going to move that variable here, but then I'm going to flip it because the alligator is eating the 9. It needs to keep eating the 9. And I can rewrite it this way. Some students will do it right at the beginning, and they'll just flip it right from the start. They'll say negative 3x plus 4, keep it eating that, negative 23. Doesn't matter if you do it at the beginning or the end, but your variable does need to end up on the left for most correct mathematics. Have a good day.